So sweet. My husband shot the game plan with him many years ago, and so I met Morris back then, and then when he signed on for the show, I was so excited because he brings such a levity to it, and such charm and wit, and he's such a great added bonus to the cast. So. Hi! What's up?
So you get to kind of run the gamut in the pilot. You get to be in this very commanding managerial role.
Yeah.
You get to have like the physical action kind of stuff, and then you also get to do that.
This is true. It seems mandatory for me for some reason when I get a role now that happens. But, you know, one of the things about this show is not only are they taking really kind of difficult, interesting storylines and weaving it into this great mythology, we also want to have fun while we're making it. You know what I'm saying? And they want to make it a little bit of splash and give it a little bit of popcorn. So this isn't just some dark, edgy show. It's fun to watch also, and I think that's a great example.
What's the biggest, the most fun moment for you
in the series? I love episode 1, where we go undercover with the Russian mob, and that to me is really just a fun episode. You get to see Crystal when she's on her toes make the decisions that she needs to make. You get to see her break a little bit, and the emotional toll it takes when someone that she cares about gets hurt, and how you deal with that. And then later in the season, a couple episodes more in, you see how she deals with the pressures of the work and how she finds her release. And those are the things that are interesting to me. And you know, I'll sit in the boardroom and I'll sit in there and I'll tell the story, I'll give the exposition and further along. That's part of, I feel like I get paid for that. I don't get paid for the fun stuff where I get to go and shoot a Glock and take out the bad guys.
It seems like a lot of characters and female characters in power positions are a little flat when they first are introduced, but it seems like it's quite the opposite here, where she's a fully formed person who happens to have.
That's so nice that you say that. I hope so. Yeah, I was just saying, I think that with writers and with the studio, their priority is to make sure the story connects. As an actor, it's my job to make sure that the characters are fully fleshed out, that you see the nuances, that if it's been an episode or two where, it's becoming a little too placid, if that's the right word, then I need to make a call and I need to shake it up. And, I think it's a constant struggle to make sure, everyone's voice is heard. And I think that David did a really great job this season of finding a way to really show kind of a personal relationship with Crystal that is very illuminating, and that's one with her father that you'll see later on, and just the relationship with him, and you see her kind of revert into more of a childish moment, and she's such an empowered woman that to see her like that is probably going to be a little uncomfortable. So yeah, it's always it's a fight and a strong desire of mine to always show the emotional toll that this kind of work takes.
How trustworthy is Crystal?
Not very. Not very. I don't think she really trusts anyone. No. She doesn't have children. She chose not to have a family. And that to me, it just says a lot to me about the character. And, I live a very normal life at home with my son, with my husband. I cook. I drop him off at preschool when I'm not working. I'm a very hands-on mom. And when I go to work, I get to almost play this character who doesn't have to worry about the consequences of her actions, because it's only her to deal with. In the darkness of the night, it's her that's dealing with herself. Where as a mother, I now feel like my choices are not only mine.
Your character has a past with Sean Beans. Can you talk about that?
It's gone back and forth. I have my kind of ideas and choices of what's happened between them. There's no question that they've had a history together. Right now what they're dealing with is the conflict of how he approaches his work, which is he's all instinct, he does what he has to do, and Crystal's all about following the rules and trying to manage him. And he doesn't want to be managed. So it's that never-ending conflict, of trying to find ways into him, trying to find ways to connect with him. And that works with just working with Sean. He's an incredible actor, and he's a hard nut to crack, so it's figuring out ways, after the first couple episodes, I wasn't even sure he knew my name. And then, it's like figuring out ways, he's elusive, and it's such an extraordinary fit for this character that they've created.
So we see you undercover at the strip club. Now, do you get to play any other roles or put on any accents?
Yeah, there are some more. I wish it was even more than that, you know. But one of the things that was important during the first season was that they really set up what the show is for you, and that they had to show Martin going under in these legends. You can't have every character going under in Legend; it would just become a farce, you know. So he really takes a toll of that, and I go in and help him in different situations. But that's what's so fun to me. You know, that to me is the candy. You know, I love getting to put on different personas and changing my voice. And you know, this isn't a show where you wear wigs. It was a big thing that it was like you're not wearing wigs to go undercover. You know, it's it's shades of yourself. It's very, very subtle shades of yourself. A little bit of a tone of voice, maybe a little bit of a hair change. You know, clothes do so much, a demeanor, and that's it.
Is there a big bad for the show or for the season?
A big what?
A big bad, like a big villain, or is it more internal?
There is a big villain. It's a corporation, but it's also the person behind it, and that kind of takes on an even bigger theme, and that's kind of built into the mythology of the show. David has been so incredible about weaving all that together, but you know, our scripts were coming in, and towards the end, we were having scenes written for us on set. I've never had that before. I am someone who enjoys control myself, and I prefer to have my material long in advance. And this show didn't afford that luxury. So we are on our toes with this, and we all were just kind of rolling on instinct, which is great, but at the same time, I prefer to have more time to work on something. So I do hope this show, you know, and TNT and people get behind it so that we get a chance to kind of tell this whole story, because the way that I've heard what they want to do next season is so much about duplicity, and that to me is pretty exciting. I love duplicity. It's all of us, you know. It's who we are. It's what we see every day. The chance to get to explore that would be exciting to me.
How much background information did you get in terms of what your job that you're doing as your dad? Like consulting?
Not enough. I was able to work with a cop who was an FBI agent, and he had worked. And he talked to me about, we did gun training, and he had a female partner. And I was really curious about that because, like, my hand isn't as big to hold the blocks. You know, it's a little harder to me, so I had to practice longer. You know, it just doesn't work the same way as someone who's larger in size. So we kind of talked about that, but how his partner would never change the gun that the guys were using. She would never shift herself. It was a part of pride for her. And that was something that was interesting to me, that if the boys are going to get it, I'm getting the exact same thing. So I just had to work on it a little bit more. And we also had great people on set, you know, to kind of help us and make sure it really was believable and true to the moment about what would happen. And that's the fun stuff, you know, to get out there and be able to do these stunts and tear it up, you know. Has David Wilcox come to sit here yet? Because he had told me he was writing me the 2-minute haywire fight scene, and I never got to do it. So why don't you guys ask him what happened to that? Okay? It was supposed to be a 2-minute quiet fight scene.